Hate to be this dude. He's being accused of something pretty serious by his stepdaughter. Now, he is saying that the reason why is because they are not going to be buying the 16-year-old girl a brand new car for her birthday. And because of this, apparently she has lashed out and now accused her stepfather of something that's really not great. Basically coming on to her and doing inappropriate things. Now, this girl's biological father lives very far away and really isn't in the picture too much. And he just said, look, this is a tough situation because this girl is spreading these kind of rumors and causing issues. And I'm just curious how to handle it because of this situation. My wife and I are trying to figure out what to do with this girl. Do we keep her here and risk that she could do other things to cause issues within our family here, or should we try to ship her off to her dad, which is maybe what she's trying to do? He doesn't seem to be too willing to watch her, and we're afraid of what might happen if she does go and live with him. But can you have somebody that is openly rebellious against you and doing things that could get you locked up or affect your reputation and help you lose your job? I don't know how you handle a kid that is like this and coming up with these kind of allegations.
You got to get professionals involved.
Yeah.
If you are really not doing anything wrong, let's say that's the case and someone's accusing you of that, especially if it's the daughter or your stepdaughter, you got to get professionals involved. You got to protect yourself. Now, is he telling the truth or is the doctor or is the daughter telling the truth? See what I'm saying?
The thing is, the daughter has done a few things before that included her own mother and things that turned out to be lies and she got in trouble for. And so right now the wife is believing him because she's trying to say the stepfather touched her inappropriately. And the wife is backing him up and saying, yeah, I could see it. And she knew how upset she was when she didn't get the car. And she said this is kind of her MO when she doesn't get her way. She lashes out and she realizes how easily you can get parents into trouble these days. So she just goes off and tells somebody else in the family or somebody at school, and then they have an investigation, and then it's causing all these kind of issues, and they don't really know what to do because, you know, she does have power because it is starting to look bad, and she doesn't stop with these lies. And so the question is, eventually, is law enforcement going to be like, why would she keep saying all this stuff if there wasn't any truth behind it?
Well, there's got to be an investigation, and they would have to do a thorough investigation. And they usually do a pretty good investigation, and they're gonna have to talk to a lot of people and dive real deep into this because you're right. This is a big, bad allegation to be thrown at you.
But if she's making this up, she's not welcome in our home. Her new home is either with her dad or with juvie. Because you can't have somebody in your home that makes up something like this. This is very serious.
It is very serious. Yeah, absolutely.
And you hate to say it because it really does suck because there are so many people who do go through this horrible thing, but there are people who absolutely lie about stuff like this.
So people are saying
this is a big lesson for the liar. Whoever's lying is not allowed in the home.
Well, they're saying that maybe you could go for a mental evaluation on this girl and let people know that maybe the system would help you out and they could listen to what's going on and saying, hey, look, I can promise you none of these things are happening. She's had a pattern of when she doesn't get her way that she lashes out and creates lies. And it seems like the more damaging she knows, the better because she really wants to get leverage on us.
Where's the therapist that helped with the first scenario where she accused the mom of stuff?
They didn't use one on that one. It was something, it was just, that one didn't have to do with any kind of like sexual abuse.
Gotcha.
That was.
But there are documented cases where this has happened, where it's been proven that someone was lying about the bad things that were happening.
Was it documented in this one that she was lying? Because then that's a track record of lies.
They've gone through this one, and this right now they're stuck at the stepfather's insisting he didn't do it. The mom is believing him, but the daughter is still holding on to her accusations. She's not recanted them, and there hasn't been proof that it didn't. But look, I mean, for him, you cannot be anywhere close to this girl alone. You would always have to have a situation where somebody's there watching you, and that would be very tricky in your own home.
And even if it's proven that you're not guilty, and let's say you're really an innocent person, it won't matter for some people. all they'll just hear is the fact that you were accused of it.
And they'll believe the daughter.
They'll believe the daughter, and they'll believe all that. That's just what happens sometimes in some of this stuff. It's sad and it's scary.
Yeah, I would think you need to get the girl help. I think you probably need to get her out of the house, unfortunately. And she's only 16 years old, and I'd hate to make her feel like she's abandoned, but when you come up with accusations of your stepfather touching you inappropriately, then you cannot be under the same roof, I don't think, until that's fully resolved.
I'd have cameras everywhere. I would try to protect myself as much as I could. If you are innocent, if you're innocent and you're accused of that, I mean, that is just, your life is wrecked.
Does her dad live in town, or
no? He's
far away,
cross country kind of thing.
So if we ship her to dad, then we can't continue the local investigation.
And he's not showing a lot of interest, like he's never has in her life, and so I think that's part of it. She's always had issues. It's just how her dad's kind of abandoned her and took off, kind of thing. So I mean, look, I feel for her. I'm sure she's going through, and she's trying to sort out her emotions. But boy, I mean, this is real damaging stuff when you throw out that kind of allegation against his stepdad.
Who are you talking about, the wife or the daughter?
The daughter.
Talking about the daughter. Yeah.
So after this accusation is out there, she shouldn't want to be in this house anyway. If this is indeed going on, then you shouldn't want to be there. And if it's not going on, the dad should not want her there, like the stepdad. So under no circumstances should she spend another day in this house, right? But like, where does she go?
Well, they'll figure all that out. They're not going to allow this girl to live with that father if that's what's going on. And she's 16, going on 17. She's close to being, by the time this is all settled out, she'll be able to live on her own if she wants to.
And maybe you could have her stay with a friend right now. You know, the situation's going on.
You know how this stuff goes. It takes forever to get through the courts. They drag their feet with all this stuff.
Katie's on here from Wellington. You say your friend went through this very same thing. What happened in that situation, Katie?
So there were two daughters in the house. One was a stepdaughter who was, a teenager, and then the other one was a younger kid. So the guy being accused was the biological father of the younger child, but the stepfather of the teenager.
Okay.
The teenager is the one that accused him of doing what she said he did. She told somebody at school, who then, called the, police, and the mom got called home. And basically what ended up happening was they separated, and the mom and the two daughters moved up with the mom's parents, so the grandparents. And he ended up moving in with his parents, and they separated for a few years. Unfortunately, this girl was lying, and there was no basis. Like, she was lying. She was not telling the truth. So after a few years, when she was of age and old enough to move out, she moved out on her own, and then they got back together.
The couple did.
Yes, they did. Wow. They never really broke up, but they couldn't live together because the daughter refused to live with him, and the mom is not going to leave her child homeless, even though she was lying.
Wow, that's so messed up.
How is it known?
That's so messed up.
So messed up.
How is it? How did it come out that she was lying, and then were there any repercussions to the girl for making up the accusation?
Turns out that the girl does have some mental issues, personality disorder kind of stuff. So she was put on medication and therapy, things like that. But there was just a lot of animosity and anger and resentment in that family, and there still is.
Yeah.
A lot of times.
Like she was.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Really. Just it was a false accusation all the way. So now her little sister had to live without her dad for a few years.
Right. That's tough. Yeah.
And a lot of times when after they get accused in something, it's proven that they're not guilty, nothing happens to the person who accuses them. They may go to jail for a couple months, but if you're accusing somebody of something like that, which is horrible, and that guy was to be found guilty, he would be going to prison for a long time.
Totally.
So if you're lying about something like that, you should be going to prison for something like that.
You would think
What if
so.
it's a minor, though?
You can still go to jail. You can still. There was a kid he was 14 years old, and they said he was an adult because he committed a murder, and they charged him with murder as a 14-year-old, depending on the state and what they've done.
It needs to be pressed upon it, just how serious it is. Yeah, that's too bad. I'm glad they got back together, and hopefully he's vindicated, and nobody thinks that he would do something that terrible, because I couldn't imagine a worse charge against
well, the worst
stepdad.
part was when he found out and was told that somebody was hurting her, because like I said, she told the school.
Mm-hmm.
The school called them and said what she accused somebody of hurting her, and he was so angry he wanted to go out and kill whoever it was.
Right.
And then when he found out she was saying it was him, he was just devastated, because he raised her for years.
Yeah.
She was angry because she didn't get her way for something.
Wow.
Yeah, well, apparently this happens, unfortunately, somewhat frequently. So, yeah, it's a very tough situation. I'm glad they made it through, and I'm hoping in this situation they can make it through. But it sounds like you're in for years of problems because of this allegation.
It seems like it's gotten more prevalent. And I hate to say it, and I hate to keep saying it, but I blame social media. Victimhood, when you're not really a victim, is quite lucrative. And that's not a knock. If you're really a victim, my heart goes out to you. But there are people out there who are not victims, who are saying they're victims, and they're getting a lot of cha-ching by playing the role of a victim when they're not a victim.
Well, I think what you see is more people being rewarded than punished for these accusations. And if they're false, and it's proven to be false, that it should be publicized that you get a punishment for it. And it should be a severe punishment. Because otherwise, how do we start separating? You should know that if I'm going to make this allegation, it had better be true.